Motivation. This is my favorite kind of speech. So can we get everybody up? Everybody up. Even you, Ryan. I know you're writing. I see it. All right, let's get a big round of applause. Come on. Get energized. Shake your arms off. Come on. Come on in. Come on in. Join the party. Join the party. Join the party. All right, shake your arms off. It's getting warmer. You know, spring is here, right? Now I want you to look to left and right of you, everybody around the room, and say, "You got the right stuff," and shake his or her hand. Say, "You got the right stuff." You got the right stuff. All right, everybody can have a seat now. Doesn't it feel good when we're all energized? Smiles. Feels great, right? Some of you do this in the gym, you get pumped up, maybe you have a training partner that's just all crazy like I am and probably pushes you a little bit too far, and you're limping to class the next day because you did squats for a little bit too long. So I'm here today to motivate you. Now, unfortunately, this weekend I work on a farm and there were some calves that were born, and so I had to take care of the calves and help out at the farm. So I'll be honest with you, I am underprepared today. So in your notes, when you're giving me notes, I do have a crush that I may or may not use today. So please keep that in mind. So, speaking of calves, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the first story. And it was this weekend. And I was just thinking about life. This calf that we had found in the field. In farming, you wait for the calf to be born, and then you look for them we have calving shifts where people will actually take care of the calves. And part of that shift is to look for newborn calves. And we found a calf that day. And this calf was probably no more than a year old. And my manager looked at me and said, "Tyler, I need you to take that calf up, take it to the side-by-side," which is a little mini car truck thing. I'm sure you've seen them before. Some people call them Rangers. Rangers. And I picked this calf up, and it's just covered in embryonic fluid. It's like not more than like an hour old, you know, and he's just running around, just being rambunctious, being a little baby. And I just look at him, and we're going to get real here for a second. I look at him, I just think that this is life. This animal that can breathe and talk and suckle from his mom at an hour old was once a bundle of cells in his mom. That's wild to me. To me, that's wild. Maybe I'm just a nerd. Maybe it's because I actually want to go into embryology, which is the study of embryogenesis and all that. But that's wild. The idea of life, that these cells can morph into a being that has its own consciousness, arguably. Its own feelings, can feel pain. And it's just crazy to think the potential that life has. Unfortunately, with life, there also is death. Part of any journey is also the end. But I think, from my own experiences, that death can also be a rebirth. I used to ride bulls, and I rode bulls for 4 years before really taking college seriously. And about a year into riding bulls, I suffered an accident. It was pretty bad, and to say that I wasn't close to death would be an understatement. I don't really talk about it much, and I don't try to play it up like it's some big thing, because it just is. But I digress. I'm going to go into the story and tell it to you. So, I'm here. I have this, not there specifically, this is going to come in later. I'm at the rodeo, and for bull riders, the bull riding event is always the last event. For many reasons. One, because me personally thinking, because, well, everybody comes to see the bull riding, right? And so there's a lot of downtime. And so I'm walking around, just twiddling my thumbs, waiting. and the radio comes, or my event comes, and I climb on the chute. You know, I'm over here, I'm fixing my rope, I'm getting ready, I'm mentally psyching myself up, because it is a competition. You know, this is what I'm trying to make a living at, right? And you know, I settle down on my bowl, and I'll have my hand here, right? And then I drop my feet, nod my head, and out I go. And that's when I black out. And I wake up in an ambulance. And apparently, the bull knocked heads with me, sent me flying off of him, did a full somersault in the air, landed sideways, bounced off the arena floor. The bull then kneed me in the back of the head, knocked my helmet off, and would you please hold up that helmet? The helmets are not quite as thick as that. If you know what a hockey helmet looks like, it's a full shell. So he knocked the helmet kind of like that off the back of my head, and as I was coming down, he came around and kicked me in the face and rearranged my facial bones. And I woke up, and I looked, I didn't know what was going on, and I looked at the EMT and I said, "Am I okay?" And I've been hurt before. I've done skateboarding, I've done all sorts of extreme sports. And she just looked at me. She didn't give me a straight answer. And that scared the ever-living daylights out of me. I'll be honest with you. And it took me a long time before I could even talk to people about this. It was scary. It was. For the first time, at 19 years of age, I had to contemplate my own mortality. Now, years went on, and I went through therapy, and I learned that in death, there really is rebirth. And I don't want to bring you down here, right? This is a motivational speech, right? We're getting motivated here. But at the same time, the motivation is that we're all naked. There's no way to escape death. It is going to happen. It is an unfortunate event, of course, but it is going to happen. And in that realization, in my eyes at least, you're set free. Because what are you going to do? If it doesn't kill you, it really does make you stronger. Thank you, Kanye. Right? And so that's the perspective that I live through. I try to anyways. I'm not saying I wake up every day and I'm just, whoo, man, I'm just so happy to be here, guys. No, that's not the case. But, you know, I want to bring you down just a little bit because I wanted you to realize that you have your birth right here, and then you have your death right here. And in between, you get to choose what you do. Sure, we're all given different cards in life. Some are more athletic than others. You know, unfortunately, for minorities, there is a thing called racism. For everybody, there's a thing called discrimination. We all experience that. But you get to choose, within the parameters that you were born with, how you live that life. And see, that is my goal. My goal here today is to get you to realize, hey, do what you want to do. Be who you, Tyler Chan, or anybody, who you want to be. Because we all have the same amount of time, roughly. Give or minus a few years. Why not use them, right? Title of the speech is called 18,000. And that is the number of days that a person aged 25, if they were to, unfortunately, pass on at the average age of death today, that is the amount of days you have left. That's about 2,700 weeks. And basically, why not use all those days to do exactly what you want to do? Go towards something you want to go towards. Not what society wants you to go towards. Not necessarily what mom and dad, not that mom and dad have some good things. I'm not saying, don't honor thy mother and father. But, do what you want to do. If you want to go jump off a bridge, go bungee jumping. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm going to do when I graduate. Or if it's you want to live your life, in a cottage somewhere, reading a book. I don't know. But do what you want to do. And so, the activity for today, in my manual, it says I need to create a 4-step process to get you to reach this and to motivate you. Can we all agree on that? That we all want to live the life we want to live? Yeah? Y'all look kind of sad. I know that's some pretty heavy stuff. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty heavy stuff I put on you. But it is. Life can be heavy. Life can be heavy and it can be light, and there's times in between. That's life. And that's really, to me, the beauty of it. So, first thing, if you have something you want to do, write down your goals. Write them down. Like right now, seriously, turn your papers over, and I want you to do it. I don't know let me ask a question. How many of you actually write down your goals? Have them written down somewhere in a notebook, maybe in a drawer somewhere. So we have 3 out of 4 out of maybe 20 people, 15 people. Write down your goals. So right now, I want all of you to turn over a paper and just write, what do I want to be? Because I think, and I had to wrestle with this question after my accident. What do I want? What do I want in my life? Just write something, anything. You don't have to, I don't care. It's your choice. But you have to write down your goals. And if you look at successful people, whether it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ray Dalio, who's a billionaire hedge fund investor, Les Brown, Will Smith, they all have goals and they all write them down. And that way you can see, you see it 3 times. In your mind once, when you write it down, and then you can visually see it. And it reiterates it, it keeps you on track. Because like Arnold Schwarzenegger says, you can have the best captain of the boat, but if the boat has no destination, it's just going to roam around the ocean. Right? So have goals. Act now is the second. The second one is to act now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when the Falcons win the Super Bowl. God, you'd be dead by then, right? But do it now. Zig Ziglar, he has this really good bit on this, and it goes kind of like this. I'll try to do it. He talks about the people that wait. Oh well, I'll wait till after spring break. I really want to go to Cancun and get really drunk and have fun with my boys, and let's do that. And then, after spring break, then spring break, is over. Well, we have all these tests that we have to do. We'll do them after the test. Okay, the test year. Oh, it's summer now. Well, it's summer. Okay, let's have fun. It's summer. It's break, right? We need to do our breaks. It's good to have the breaks and utilize the breaks. Okay, now. No, fall's back. School's back in session. Do you see where it comes? And then eventually you're back to spring break. So you keep making excuses without actually doing it, and you're wasting these days and weeks. Hours and minutes. It's wasting away. And so, the third is no excuses. 100% accountability. That goes true with me. I should have been more prepared today. I should not have just looked at that. It was, I need to be accountable for my own actions. People, they're born into crap situations, right? There's a lot of people born into crap situations. Will Smith has a great quote, and it says, "It's not your fault, but it is dang sure your responsibility to get over what happened to you. It's not your fault your father wasn't there. It's not your fault your mother was crappy and did some crap things to you. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to deal with it accordingly." Racism, it's not your fault. You're right. But the fact is that it's there. So it's your responsibility to say, all right, roger that, and be successful anyways. 100% accountability. And the fourth is never quit. Never, 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 never give up. Never, ever. Winston Churchill, more or less. Right? And you can say, that man, boy, he never gave up. If you know anything about history, he's just the bulldog, man. That's what they called him, pretty sure. I'm not a history buff, but that's my recollection of one of his nicknames. And I don't know if it was Zig Ziglar, I can't remember who said this, but they said, if you were to look at a newborn baby and it couldn't get up, would you say, oh, well, you know, it's okay, you can stay like that forever? No. You would tell that child, you need to get up. You need to get up. You don't quit. So never quit going after what it is. And I understand, you know, there are limitations. Like Shaq is never going to be a professional jockey, right? I mean, could you imagine Shaq on a horse, just, you know, his big old smile. Lord knows that the tack to saddle up a horse would be expensive just in that. But, sorry, imagine that's kind of funny. See, but be like water, like Bruce Lee says. Be like water. You know, for a long time I wrestled with what he really meant by be like water. Until I really started chasing my dream, which was to own my own genetics company and to create my own line of basically a brand of bucking bulls, right? And be like water. And what he means is not necessarily when you're going towards something, whatever it is, big or small. Be like water. Be able to move around it, you know? If your dream was, well, I want to be an NBA basketball star, and you lifted every rock and looked under every crevice, looked in every crevice, and couldn't be there, it just couldn't be done, well, that's when you be like water, and you say, okay, well, roger that, where can I go next? Or what can I do? But you never quit. Success really is, to me, self-defined. Whatever you think it is, not this idea of monetary gains. I mean, if you love money, then that is success for you. It's not for me. And so, I'm going to leave you guys with this. Because I think it helped me, I'll tell you that much. Les Brown, he was born homeless on a linoleum floor in Liberty City, which is one of the most impoverished cities in the United States. And he was labeled educable mentally retarded. That means his IQ was so low, but not too low. It was just enough to be educated. And his whole life he was told, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You're educable mentally retarded. You're retarded. You literally are retarded. And, you know, he said no. And he is now a multimillionaire. He is now a motivational speaker. And he has spoken to 80,000 people in the Dome before they tore it down. So, in closing, let go of your fear and just get after it. And I will see all of you at the top. Thank you.
So, everyone has these ballots and feedback slips in front of them. Can everyone leave some notes for Tyler Burnette for what he did well on, what he could improve on, and what you would like overall about the speech? Tyler, how did it feel to do 15, 20-minute speech?
It's long.
It's long. All right. So for second speaker of the day, we have FR Salewala, Salewala,
Yes.
the former secretary for SAA's brother. So without further ado, okay, we'll move the table first. Right here. Perfect. All right. So for 4 to 6 minutes, food and people and the interactions in between.
Okay.
Here we go. FR.
Alright. My full name is Faisal Rahman. Handshake. Okay, how's everyone doing? Good, okay. Just to make sure this relates to everyone, raise your hand if you eat food. You don't eat food? Wait, you don't eat food? Okay, you do eat food, okay, so that's good. I'm going to talk about how people in this, especially in this world right here, tend to waste food way too much than they should. If you look around it in the world, America and all of the countries that are first world or second world, they tend to waste 85% of the world's total food waste. And that is 3 things. It kills the environment. You wouldn't think that. But when you grow a lot of food, you require water, you require nutrients, and that's all going into the extra food. But the real effect that actually happens is when you throw away the food. When you throw away the food, it has to go somewhere. You can't just make it disappear like that. That would be superfluous, I think. But when the food goes into the trash facilities, it starts to decompose. And I mean, there are a lot of environmentalists, and I mean, everybody wants to live in a good planet. You know, you don't want to die at the age of like 50 because of global warming. You want to live a long life. So when the food is decomposing, you get carbon dioxide emissions, methane, amines are released, and then they not only increase the temperature of the world, but they also send nutrients into the water, which kill fishes, and then you're actually reducing the quality of food you're getting. So by wasting food, you're getting worse food, which makes you want to waste more food. The second reason you shouldn't waste food is not ethical. The ethical is the last one. You know, it's morally good not to waste. But who doesn't like saving money? Raise your hand if you like saving money. You don't like saving money? I'm joking. So when you don't have to when you spend less on food, or when you get only what you need, you end up buying less. But when you're wasting food, like a good analogy, you buy a book, you read like half of it, you're like, oh, that was a good book, and then you throw it away. Does that make sense? It doesn't. I don't think so. I mean, so when you buy some food, you eat some of it, and then you throw it away. I don't see the logic behind it. I mean, you got the food to eat, and I see that you're full. But I mean, in that case, just take the food with you and eat it at a later time. You save money. The average, cool fact, the U.S. the U.S. Statistic Department said that the average American loses over $842 on wasted food. But when you accumulate that for every person, that's like $14 billion in trash. It's a lot of trash. Lastly, this is like more of a moral reason why you shouldn't waste food. When you go downtown, this is in Athens. I could say Africa or Somalia or someplace like that, but y'all couldn't relate to that because you're like, oh, that's over there. But in Athens, this is 3 days ago. I was in downtown, and then there was this homeless guy. And you see him, and you feel bad for him. But then, as any normal person, you want to give them something. But the thing is, I don't trust them that much to give them money, so I actually give them food. So I take them to, I take the guy to Chick-fil-A. We're 2 minutes away. But he didn't complain about the food. He didn't like pickles, I'm assuming, because he looked at it weird. But he ate the pickles. He didn't throw it away, because, I mean, he was grateful for whatever he got. That's a good lesson. I mean, a lot of us, we grew up with everything that we wanted, everything that we needed. I mean, we had it given to us by our parents. We don't have to work hard for it. I mean, some of us, I'm not saying did, but most of us had everything handed to us. Most of us, not everyone. So, in regard, when you go through something, for example, say you actually know what it feels to starve. The lessons you learn, or the experience, it teaches you how to be a better person after you leave that. So, say you've gone through being poor, or having starved, actually, truly starvation. Like, you know how people over here say, oh, I'm super hungry, I'm gonna die. But then they just haven't had food for like a couple hours. They haven't had haven't had to go through not having food for days, actually feeling like your stomach like shrinking, like not wanting to like die, that type of hunger. So I mean, when they leave it, those people that had gone through that starvation, what they learned stays with them. So I mean, we should try. I mean, not because we have gone through that, but we should understand that because we haven't gone through that, we're fortunate. So we should still learn those values, like not wasting, using everything wisely, finishing everything. Oh no, okay. I'm almost out of time, okay. But I would like to say a cool like a quote before I leave. Don't just eat, but complete. That's it.
All right, and now everyone leave some feedback for FR on the ballots and pass them into the middle. You want this here or? All right. Leave it here. All right. Oh, all right. So for our final speaker of the day, we have Jose Reyes. He'll be also introducing his icebreaker. It'll be 4 to 6 minutes. It is titled An Unconventional Lie. It is a story about how trying to hide a stammer created a second identity. So, without further ado, Jose.
Thank you. Alright, guys. So my name is Jay. Yeah, my name is Jay. So before I begin the speech, I do have a stutter, and I have had this all of my life. When I tend to talk in front of a large group of people like I am now, it tends to get worse, and with stage fright, it tends to go downhill. So please bear with me as I speak. So I want to talk about how a white lie suffocated me because of my speech. And my white lie is Jay, a second person, if you may. If you stammer, a common thing is everyone who does stammer, the worst thing to say is your name, and every time it is always your name. When you speak or when you talk, you put a weight, you put weight on that speech, and your name is a massive amount of weight on you. When you come and say, hey, my name is, you are trying to present yourself, and that weight that you have attached to it really dawns on your speech. Now it's weird to say because it's like it's just your name. Just say your name. Like I said, it's just way more hard than what you do think. So there was one time I was in Mexico, and I was walking down a plaza, and a very cute girl she taps me on the back, and she asked, ¿Qué es tu nombre? And I turn around and I'm like, oh my God, there's this cute girl and she's trying to ask my name. I turn around and I say, my name is Huh. I tried 3 times. I could not say my name to save my life. So I said, how about I just try to ask for her name? Maybe that will break the ice, and my speech will kind of dawn and kind of smooth out afterwards. I tried to ask her name. I tried 3 times. No words came out of me. Nothing came out of me. It got to the point where I just said to myself, just forget it in my mind. I will never forget how it felt to just. The only words I was able to say was just forget it. When I thought I had said those words in my head, I had actually said those words out loud. So I'm still looking at this girl, this cute girl, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done. It wasn't too long after that where the name Jay was born. Jay was a way for me where I could present myself and not have a weight attached to my name. Jay was a way where I could myself feel normal, just to not have that thought in the back of my head. Am I going to stammer on my name again? Jay was that choice where I could just not stutter and pretend to be normal. However, Jay grew into a huge ball of lies. Now, when I would go up and someone would ask me, so hey, what is your name? I'd say, my name's Jay. And they ask, hey, so what is your favorite food? My name is fries. And I would just spit out a complete lie. Any word that I myself that I could just say. Now, these lies, they got worse. And when I say they got bad, like these lies started to harm me. There was one night where I was inside a bar, and I was thirsty because I had drank way too much. So I go up to the bar and I say, can I have some water? But I couldn't say the word. So I was, can I have some water? Can I just have beer? and the person in front, she's like, what kind of beer? How special? I did not know what to say. So then now I turn around and I start to walk back to my friends with a beer in hand. I'm just walking down. How did this beer in my hand? And my friends are like, are you still drinking? And I'm like, I guess so. I did not know what else to say. Well, Jay, I have lost a lot of friends because I have said a lot of lies like that, and these lies they were never meant to harm, but they just kind of happen. The worst part is a lot of these friends they knew that I do stammer, and they actually accept for it, but I myself I could not accept it myself. Who is Jay now? Jay is just Jay is an afterthought. Thank you guys so much for your time and for bearing with me throughout the speech.
Give it up again for Jose. That was all right. So that's all of our speakers. Timer, is everyone in time? All right. So everyone have some feedback for Jose, and also vote for the best speaker on the bottom of the feedback slips as well, and pass it into the middle.